Welcome into our Players Only Meeting segment here at SportsSource.tv, our YouTube channel, our Facebook page. This segment brought to you by Blue Smoke Cigar, located at the corner of Kingston Pike and South Peters Road. Membership in that club gets you your own personal locker for cigars and whatever you want to keep in there. Gets you 15% off Blue Smoke's elite selection of cigars. Gets you 10% off wine and liquor at McScrooge's. Access to their HD TVs, their card tables, their golf simulators, their whole lounge area. But if you just want to stop in, you can do so as a guest and check it out. You might want to buy a membership once you're in there. Blue Smoke Cigar. All right, back with all of our VFLs from today's show. Sterling Hinton, Daniel Hood, Will Overstreet, Brian Randolph. Good job today. I've got a simple question for you. We'll see how long this segment goes. That's part of the point of the segment. How many impact players are on this Tennessee team? And I mean not just impact on this Tennessee team. I mean guys that would be impact players on good enough to be impact players on other teams. Guys who make a difference and can make a difference game after game that can win games for you. Not a fluke thing, but guys you count on. And we're not just looking at yesterday, not just looking at Saturday's game. Look back to last year or whoever. But let's start out in terms of impact players.
I think I'm going to start out with Marquez Callaway. I think he's one of the receivers that's shown he can go up and get the ball. You know, I just think back to the Georgia Tech game last year where he made a couple huge catches. And I think once you get some consistent quarterback play with some consistent coaching, putting him in the right spots, he's going to be able to shine.
The only problem with that is you have to wonder, is he going to disappear in several games like he did last year? He'd have spots where he was a good player, and then you wouldn't hear his name in a couple of games. So hopefully he's made that next step and improved and gotten there, but you know, you still wonder, does he disappear this year?
Well, Willie, in his defense, my friend, he did have a little injury after the third game last year. So he did come back and play and show some toughness and ready for some leadership.
All right. I would say, if I were doing a the potentiometer, Callaway would be on there. I would put Juwan Jennings ahead of Marquez Callaway. I didn't see it against West Virginia, and he was hurt for all of the last 11 games last year. But I think Juwan Jennings has the potential to be one of those old wide receiver U types that Tennessee had in its heyday. Receivers that, when this guy gets the ball in his hands, bad things can happen for the defense. So I would go Juwan Jennings if I were picking a UT receiver. Does everybody agree that Jennings is an impact guy?
That's the beauty of the whole thing right there, John P., because remember, Quezzy came alive when Juwan got hurt. So now he's got that experience, and now Juwan had experience. Now Juwan's coming back off an injury. If he gets back to his level, oh, baby, that's a dynamic duo right there.
Had 2 catches against West Virginia, but it's debatable whether he's truly 100% right.
Truly back, right.
But that's the thing. I think you've got potential with those two.
Right.
I think
but you're going to have to bring it to full froth.
If you're going to say one guy that, you know, could be that all SEC, could play on any team, impact player, Trey Smith.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, I mean, he's by far your best player.
He's a dog.
Can you say an impact player is left tackle?
That's the hard part there, is to say, how many games is he going to win you, even if he dominates his guy on that side?
He was the best guy on the team last year, and it was an awful offensive line.
Right. And you said at tackle, it's hard to take over a game on the offensive line. So I'll have to agree with you with Juwan Jennings. He may not be the most athletic receiver that we have. He may not be the strongest, but he definitely has the most fight. And so that's something that you need at receiver, especially dealing with SEC DBs. So impact player, as far as taking over a game, I had to say Juwan Jennings.
The guy I'm interested in seeing, and he didn't take over the game yesterday, but he's been a guy that's been hurt, but he's shown flashes of being the talent, and that's Shy Tuttle. So him being a kind of player on the defense that can be a dominant force at nose guard and defensive line, I want to see, because you give that first couple game pass after coming off an injury, does he get back to form and speed? He's a guy that has the ability to be that kind of player.
You've talked on radio, and you talked earlier today about there's some guys that will just, a system will fit a guy better. Well, here's the thing. You're going to a 3-4, and they played 4-man front yesterday as well. They knew they'd be multiple, but you're going to a 3-4, you need a nose tackle, which means some guys fit the system. The system needs him to fit it.
Yes,
because I don't know, he's your best bet to be that nose tackle guy. I don't know who else is ready to jump in there and handle that.
And a dominant nose tackle would be dominant in changing a game a couple ways. One, he'd make plays, But two, the absolute best way at nose tackle, if the middle linebacker is coming clean and just having big hits with nobody touching him, that means your nose tackle's getting double teamed, and that's what they're really supposed to be doing.
And what will also free up a nose tackle is have a good edge present. So we need some edge rush to help try to eliminate double teams on shots. So.
We need to recruit that.
Well, yeah, there's your impact. I mean, you've got giant areas. If we had a map of the field, you'd be circling giant holes, I think, where there aren't any impact. I think pass rusher, the edges would be those two gaping holes. Linebacker, Kirkland would be the closest you'd have to it, but is he I'll go out and win games for you, game changer kind of guy?
I put him in the category of he's shown flashes and he's coming off an injury. Let's give him a few more games. He's a guy to watch. I wouldn't put him there yet.
Personally, I'll say he's a solid player. You can definitely count on him. I play with him. He works hard. He knows his checks. He's going to be in the right spot, but he still can make it to another level, and he has to make it to another level to be considered an impact player for me.
I mean, at linebacker, we were talking in between the breaks today. A.J. Johnson, who hadn't played in 3 years, not only gets drafted by the Broncos, he makes the team. I was figuring he's probably going to have to get back in football shape, football size, football speed. He made the team. He's on the 53-man roster. I don't see any linebackers on this team that are to his level when he was at Tennessee.
Well, AJ is the reason why they call him Beast Mode. Yeah. It's the reason why is that people don't just get that nickname.
Well, no, I'm not. This isn't about him as much as I'm saying you're right. Yeah. But you don't have any beast modes in the linebacking core this year. Is what I'm saying.
Well, I want to jump on the conversation you guys just started. I think if Darren Kirkland Jr. is able to play the entire season at one position, I think his improvement from game to game could make him an incredibly impactful player in October and November.
Daniel, I'm going to have to teach you how to put the microphone in your pocket. All right. Let's talk about secondary. I think going into the season, you would have had people saying, well, Nigel Warrior, because he's a big hitter. He didn't look it yesterday.
I still say Nigel. I mean, Will Greer threw some passes yesterday that would just pinpoint. I don't care who was guarding his receivers yesterday. A couple of those passes were just bullseyes. Didn't matter who was guarding them. I think Nigel played a show first game, but I still think he's an impact player on that Tennessee football team.
I think you've got potential down the road with some of those young guys that played.
Yeah.
As you coach them up, we'll see what they've got. There's potential there, but none of those are.
Yeah. I mean, no true freshman you're usually going to rank it after their first game. I mean, it takes a lot more time than that to see who's going to be good.
Have we seen enough of Dominic? Well, the answer is no, but we can project. He was a JUCO All-American, one of your top 2 signees, caught the touchdown pass yesterday. Your thoughts on Dominic Wood Anderson? Would you be ready to put him? I don't know if you put him as impact. I'm dividing this up. True impact and impact maybes. Would he be an impact maybe?
I can't say that. No. I couldn't say that right now, but impact maybe in my book, and I might need to see more, and maybe even Brian can chime in on this. I think Baylor Buchanan. I think he's going to be around for make some plays for that defense in the secondary this year.
He had some issues yesterday though, where there were times when it wasn't pretty. At times,
as a DB, you're on an island. It's going to happen. You're going to get made plays on because it's just the world we live in. But it's going to take a little bit of experience, and he's going to get burned a couple times. But I feel like he definitely could possibly be one of them impact players for our defense later down the road.
I think your potential maybes, you could also say Garantano. I mean,
definitely.
And just
the maybe. I'll give you one other maybe.
Definitely.
And he's the one that went off yesterday. That's Tim Jordan.
I forgot about him.
Okay. Now, is that it? Again, one game. So I'm not sure. I'm not ready to put it in as an impact player.
One game against a defense that last year gave up a lot of rushing yards per game.
Now, last year I would have put Trevor Daniel on their list of impact players that other teams had to work. But here's the thing. Here's our potential list. You gonna shine of that, Chris? Let's zoom in here. All right. Marquez Callaway, question mark. Juwan Jennings. Trey Smith, question mark because of the position he plays. Shy Tuttle. Darren Kirkland Jr., question mark. Nigel Warrior, question mark. Baylor Buchanan, question mark. Jared Garantano, question mark. Tim Jordan, question mark. Let's decide this. I think this will make it easier. How many guys on that list are other coaches going to be specifically game planning against? We got to deal with this guy, or else we lose.
So on the defense perspective, I say 2, Callaway and Jennings. If I was watching film, those are guys we got to stop, and we just gang tackle with Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to have to game plan for Jared Garantano. I mean, our quarterback, you know, he showed some flashes yesterday. I
Flashes.
mean, I like him.
It's early.
But it's early, and that's what I'm saying. It's early. So the flash could definitely prosper into an oak tree. I like it.
Hey, the thing
I like what he
about
did yesterday.
The thing I liked about his performance yesterday is you've got him for 2 more seasons after this one.
Come on.
And if he can fend off and we don't have to watch a darn 2-quarterback system this year,
Well,
okay, then if he's a solid SEC player this year, the next year he can be a good SEC quarterback. You can win games. Who knows what the next year could bring?
Well, let's just hope the offensive line improves and doesn't get him killed. That's the biggest thing. You see those hits
That first hit yesterday.
and you're like,
First play.
okay, you may need a second quarterback to get some reps just in case you get lit up enough that you can't keep the guy the whole year.
Okay, very good guess. So in other words, the impact list is pretty short, which
Yeah.
now if we did this list for Alabama,
Oh, it's going.
I'd be like Moses. I'd be carrying more things from stone tablets down from
I'm
Mount
not going
Sinai.
to co-sign that, John P.
Yeah, Alabama doesn't have any impact talent. You're right, Sterling.
in Alabama.
Okay, now here's this is a little off topic. I wasn't planning on doing this. As a matter of fact, I told you today, Brian, that at some point we need to discuss this. Well, let's do it right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's our
Might
own
as well.
segment. It's already started. It's the thing you hear. It's one of the things you hear most from folks in the stands. Our DBs never look back. Why don't our defensive backs ever look back? Could you explain to people when you look back and when you don't look back, in phase, out of phase? Could you explain that to folks?
Oh yeah, so in phase, and that's when everything's going perfect. You know, you're in the V of the neck, you're right on the hip of the receiver, and you had the luxury of looking back and trying to make a play. But football is a game where you will get beat, it will happen, you will be out of position, and that's when the coach tells you, say, if you watch the quarterback throw the ball, you're going to watch him complete it. So don't look back, play off the eyes of the receiver and try to punch the ball out. But when you're beat, that's probably why they're not looking back. They're beat at that point.
Yeah, if you're a step behind and you turn to do this, you've lost your guy.
Oh, yeah.
You're more than a step behind now. You're lost.
You're going to be a couple steps behind.
Yeah, the other idea is run even with him, then you can look back when he looks back. But I'm amazed that that's a simple kind of a football 101, but man, that is the immediate first call on every call-in show after every game anywhere in America.
And that's one of the hardest things to do when you're running full speed. And you got to all of a sudden turn your head back. That's pretty difficult to do. It looks easy, but that's probably one of the hardest things to do is running full speed and then adjusting and finding the ball in the air.
And to expand on what you just said, John P., you know, to look back when you're even. Well, from a quarterback's perspective, if we're even, we're leaving. We're leaving.
I'll leave it on Mr. Positive. Very good.
Good.
Sterling, I appreciated your analysis today on the show. Very good job. For a brief second, the orange blinders fell off. And it wasn't like it was negative. It was good.
It's truthful.
I just see the potential. I think a couple of those guys out there are Sunday players, and I think, you know, they can get to playing on Sunday if they do those two things. But I know their great wide receiver coach, Coach Johnson's going to give it to them. So I'm excited about this season.
Well, I also think there are 9 of us on this show. Everybody's got a different opinion, and I like having somebody who usually argues with me because I'm negative, but I'm nowhere near Willie Raincloud. Thanks to Sterling, Daniel, Will, and Brian. I'll see you guys all fall along. Looking forward to it. Great job today. Thank you very much for watching. Get out to see Blue Smoke Cigar. If you're a cigar smoker, check it out. Trust me, great folks. See you next week.